Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Slayer back here again with another video. You know, one of the many bizarre things and crazy things about alcohol is not only can it kill you from drinking it, but it can also kill you if you stop drinking it. When you've been drinking mass quantities for years and years, your body becomes dependent on it. You go through severe withdrawal that can, and sometimes does, kill us. Benzodiazepines and alcohol being the only two withdrawals that can kill you. What a wild substance. You know, someone commented in my community post and said, make a video on like alcohol versus drugs, which I'm probably going to make a video on that, but there's this misconception about alcohol that it's, you know, we put it into this class of its own, when in all reality, alcohol is a drug. It's one of the hardest, deadliest, most addictive drugs on this earth. It should have never gotten its own, you know, category. It's complete nonsense. It's a powerful substance. And I've said that before, guys. It's strong. You know, today I wanted to talk about some of the intense things, wild things that can come from alcohol withdrawal. And one of them being hallucinations, delirium tremens, alcoholic hallucinosis, alcoholic psychosis. I mean, there's all these different names for these and categories for these different withdrawals. They're all absolutely hellish. And whether they're some sort of spiritual, demonic experience, or if they're just all our mind and our central nervous system playing tricks on us, going haywire, it doesn't really matter, because the experience is terrifying and it often leaves us with scars. I know that I'll never forget my experiences, even though I haven't went as deep with my hallucinations and stuff as other people have. I'll never forget the experiences that I have had. And today I wanted to talk about that. And the reason why I want to talk about that is because one of the subscribers here, Serena, shout out to you. You actually told me that your son was in the ICU going through delirium tremens. And my heart goes out to your son, goes out to you and your entire family. I heard that he's now doing better, and that's amazing. I hope that he puts the drink down once and for all. And before I get any deeper into this video, please, if you're hearing things, seeing things, if you're hallucinating, and any of that stuff, or any of your loved ones are, please go to the hospital. It's better to be safe than sorry. I know that the hospital can be expensive and everything else, especially if you don't have insurance, but just go to the hospital. You're possibly going to save your life. I mean, this is no joke. Serena, you asked me to talk about some of my experiences, the things that I've seen, the things that I've heard and experienced while I've been going through severe alcohol withdrawal. So today we're going to talk about that, guys. By the way, I now have over 1 month clean and sober, so that's awesome. And a big thank you to each and every single one of you guys, because you guys definitely helped me. So first of all, I'm going to tell you about the things that I heard. It's always terrifying. It's always something that seems like it's grotesque and creepy and eerie, unsettling. It never seems like it's any good hallucinations. I mean, you can't compare it to something like a mushroom trip. You can have a bad trip, but it does not feel the same as when you're going through delirium tremens or alcoholic hallucinosis. It's just not the same thing. You can't compare the two experiences to each other. I've tripped on mushrooms a handful of times. I've you know, delved into psychedelics before in the past, and I'm telling you from firsthand experience, it's not the same thing. When you go through delirium tremens and you have these hallucinations from the withdrawal, it's a hellish realm. It sends you into a hellish realm. And it always, you know, would start out with me hearing things, and that's usually how it starts out for most people. I remember one of the first things I ever experienced was I would hear a phone ringing in the distance. And I experienced this last withdrawal period. If you guys, you know, I documented my 5 days of my withdrawal. If you guys have not seen that, go check that out. And same thing happened that time around. I actually heard a phone that I don't think was ever actually ringing. I thought that it was my dad's phone, and I don't think that there was ever any phone going off. But I've heard phones. And I'd get up. Usually it would be like when I was laying in my bed, I'd hear a phone ring and I'd get up and go check, and there would be no phone, nothing in sight. I'd often hear music as well. I've heard music many times, especially when there's like white noise. If there's a fan going, like when you're in the bathroom and you have your bathroom fan going, or if you're laying in your bed and you have a bed, if you have a fan for your bed, kind of that any white noise would make the auditory hallucinations that much worse. So many times I'd be standing in my bathroom, brushing my teeth, getting ready for the day, going through this horrible withdrawal, and I'd be hearing music. Oftentimes it was no music that I could really recognize. It was nothing that I heard before. It was never like it was Led Zeppelin or something playing in my head. No, it was just bizarre, again, kind of eerie, creepy music that I would hear off in the distance. I'd go check if I, had my phone playing something on Spotify. I would go look and maybe see if my computer was playing something, just to realize that there was absolutely nothing playing at all. Another thing that I've experienced is whispering, demonic, creepy whispering. And some years back, when I was drinking every single day, the first time that I ever went into my, before I ever went into my first detox center, and really, I didn't even know that such a thing even existed. So I was always white-knuckling withdrawal, which is extremely dangerous. And I remember this time that I was waiting for my friend to bring me liquor. He was actually dropping it off at a church down the way in this dumpster, and I was walking over there at night to go and get my fix, but it had been like 3 or 4 days since the last time that I drank, and I was going through withdrawal bad. I remember sitting in the garage waiting for him to go drop it off so I could head down there, and just hearing demonic whispering from all corners of the room. I can't do it any justice, but it was kind of like and speaking in tongues almost, and it would freak me out. I would get on my phone and blare something on my phone, a podcast, a video, maybe some music, and nothing would be able to drown out the noise of this demonic whispering. And when he finally texted me and said, "Yo, man, I dropped it off down there," I hauled ass. I got up, I started moving, I started walking as fast as I possibly could. And I remember that walk down there was something out of a scary movie. I mean, seriously, it was something out of a horror movie. There was shadows creeping out of the corners of the houses as I was walking down the sidewalk. There was, shadow people creeping out of and staring at me behind bushes and stuff. And I'd look over and I'd see it. It would freak me out even more, and I'd start walking just that much faster. And I went through that many times, and a lot of the times I would be able to get my hands on alcohol. I remember getting over to that dumpster and, opening it up and just chugging it as fast as I possibly could. How much alcohol does it take? How much alcohol did it take for me? How much do you have to drink to go into the delirium tremens? I also wanted to cover that. The first time that I ever started experiencing symptoms and having hallucinations, I was having 8 to 12 double shots every single day. And that was 100 proof whiskey that I was drinking. So yeah, it was a lot of liquor. 12 of those things is like equivalent to a liter. So I was drinking mass amounts, and I did that for like a year plus every single day. And I was already drinking pretty heavily before that. Of course, it's different for each and every single one of us, but it really depends on how much you're drinking and how long you've been drinking. And I was drinking, the equivalent to a 750 pretty much every single day. And that's what led me to having these insane withdrawal symptoms, because in the beginning, of course, I didn't have any of that. In the beginning, I didn't even get a hangover, if you can believe it or not. I wouldn't get any of that. But as it progressed, my withdrawal would get worse and worse. And, once you're at the point of waking up, you're drinking first thing in the morning. I was drinking the first shot and having to throw it up just to be able to hold the rest of the liquor down. Once you're at that point, I think that, and again, most people don't ever experience any hallucinations or anything like that. But once you're at that point, I think that you're more susceptible to experiencing this stuff. And I'd also hear my name being called, which it would always freak me out. I'd hear my name being called. It would usually be like one of my parents would call my name. And again, I'd get up and go check and see if anybody called me. Nobody would be there. A lot of the times, they wouldn't even be at the place that I was staying at, and I would hear them call me just to figure out that nobody was there. It was all in my head. And then something else that I would experience, and it would usually be right before I was going to fall asleep, I would hear I'd literally feel the breath of a whisper right in my ear. And it would usually just say, hey, or like scream something like that straight in my ear. But it was so real. It sounded exactly like if somebody, like a real person, came over and sat right next to my ear and said something in it. And I could feel the warm breath and air coming out, on my ear. And it would freak me out. And you have to keep in mind, the entire time that you're going through these hallucinations, you're feeling like absolute death. You're feeling terrible. It's not like all the other symptoms of withdrawal go away. No, you're puking, you're feeling horrible, you have impending doom, anxiety that's next level. And that's another thing that came with it, like bright lights. Everything would just be overly bright. My sensitivity to the light would be awful. I would be paranoid out of my mind. People would often come check on me when I would be in my room going through these experiences. And when somebody would walk into the room, I would just instantly jump and just completely freak out like someone was coming to kill me. Paranoia out of this world. And then the dreams, usually very hellish. I have had dreams where demons have taken me down to hell, ripped me out of my bed and dragged me down staircases, or they're sexual, just very bizarre sexual type of dreams. And the dreams are always horrifying. The actual visual hallucinations that I saw spiders, which is very common. I saw spiders crawling on my walls. I said before, my room at the time was up a staircase, and I was walking down the staircase, and from each side of, there's two sides to the staircase, the walls going down, there were spider webs covering the entire path down the staircase. And I was walking through these spider webs and actually moving them and, swiping them out of my way. And they were going on my hands and arms as I went down the stairs. When I hit the bottom of the staircase, I looked at my hands and all of it was gone. I looked up the stairs just to realize that none of it was even there. It was very weird. I've talked about, seeing the demon in detox. That first time that I was in detox, I was 100% awake, and this creature walked in. It was a grotesque demon. That's the best way I can describe it, just to come to find out it was the nurse. I was seeing it as that. Constantly just feelings of dread, and you feel like, I can't describe it unless you've been through it, but like your overall feeling is that is just like you're going to die and that you're already in hell, and this is just like the precursor to what awaits you when you actually get there. That's like the best way that I can describe it. The close-eyed visuals that I would get would always be wild. I mean, horrifying. I would close my eyes and I would just see morphine visualizations of just horror and gore and people dying and manifestations of different grotesque, unsettling, eerie things. And I can't even describe it. It would just be constantly morphing when I would close my eyes into something else that was terrifying. I remember one time I saw this kid, and he was constantly getting his jaw like ripped open and broken and ripped off, and then it's like my visual would like zoom into his face, and then it would come back out and I'd see him again, and the hand would come up and rip his jaw off, and I just kept seeing that over and over and over again. I cannot even describe the close-eyed visuals. It'd be so intense, and it'd just be one image after the next. And I even experienced this again the last time that I went through withdrawal. I experienced this when I would close my eyes. I would just see, and it wouldn't be 100% clear. It'd be like maybe 40% clear or 50% clear where I could just see it to make it out. And it would just be I don't know, something out of like a creepypasta is, if you guys know what those are, that's the best way I can describe like some of the images that would be popping up in my head. And then that would morph into something else, and it would pop up into something else. And again, something else with the dreams is that I'd also always have dreams that would just make me feel less than. Like I wouldn't only have demonic dreams of me being tortured and stuff. I'd have dreams of like, you know, just people that had betrayed me in the past, like they're back again and they're doing something horrifying, or just like seeing family members being tortured, just all this crazy shit, guys. I mean, I could go on and on and on for days. It blows my mind. It blows my mind, the power of alcohol. And it's a legal substance that any of us can go buy. And when you're drinking every single day, mass quantities, copious amounts of alcohol every single day, and never giving your body a break, your central nervous system completely spins out of control. If you're like me, I do very much believe it's a spiritual experience. I do think that these things are demonic. I think that drugs and alcohol can put our brains in, you know, it can tune our brains into certain frequencies. And alcohol is obviously a very dark frequency, because some of the things that I've seen, I've experienced, I've heard, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Of course, like hearing a phone or hearing, you know, somebody talk in another room or something, you get up and you go check it. It isn't horrifying necessarily, but I'll tell you, it's creepy. It's creepy. It will creep you out. You just imagine if you're sitting in your living room, you're hanging out, you're watching TV or something, next thing you know, you're hearing your mom, you're hearing your brother, you're hearing your friend call your name in the other room that wasn't even over. They weren't at the house at any point throughout the day, and they're calling your name. You get up and you go check, just to realize that there's absolutely nothing there. Are these ghosts? Are these demons? I'm not 100% sure. We could argue these things all day long. It definitely feels like they're demonic. It definitely feels like ghosts and spirits. And it's never anything good. Like I said, I've never experienced anything good. It feels like that portal's opening up. Like we're almost, it's almost inevitable, because what goes up must come down. And when we're drinking day in, day out, day in, day out for years, for a decade, and then we suddenly just cut that off, that down is really far down. It's the abyss. You literally go into the abyss. And many people don't make it out. And that's why I stress to anybody who's going through it, please go to the hospital. Please seek some help. Please speak to a doctor. I know that there's a lot of shame that goes into it. It's like I said, that it's expensive, but it's worth saving your life. It's not worth risking possibly dying. Just please be safe. And I hope that this can educate people on, just like I said, how powerful of a substance alcohol really is. My heart goes out to your son. I'm glad that he's out of the hospital. Once you go into delirium tremens, or you have alcoholic hallucinosis, or any of those things, you're more susceptible to go back into them again. So I would definitely let your son know that. Pretty much, you know, if I would have drank for 2 weeks instead of 6 days this last time, I would have been hallucinating all sorts of stuff. It's a big reason. It's drawn me towards God, guys. I'm not going to lie. Like, a lot of these experiences that I've had with alcoholic hallucinosis and delirium tremens has drawn me closer to God, because it's shown me that there is a dark side out there, man. And I've had a lot of wild experiences that I need to talk about one day on this channel, spiritual experiences. And for those of you that aren't into all that stuff, I completely understand, man. I'm just glad that you're here, and I hope that you're getting sober, or that you're sober and you're living your best life, because that's what it's all about, guys. So, Serena, thank you so much. I wanted to make this video personally for you. Of course, I couldn't cover everything that I've experienced, but I just wanted to hop on here, let you guys know that I'm doing okay. Yeah, my hair's up for today's video, so I look a little bit different than I usually would. But, yeah, man, I'm still sober. I'm still going strong. Please, if you're experiencing any of those symptoms, go to a hospital. If you've been drinking every single day like a fish, getting blasted, getting loaded every single day like me, please be safe and go to a detox, or go to a hospital, or speak to a doctor before you just quit. And before you just decide to say, hey, I'm going to taper, personally, tapering never worked for me. Never. It never worked for me. It was a nightmarish experience, if you want me to be honest with you guys. It was awful. Every single time that I tried to taper myself, it was a horrible experience. Even the times that I had other people helping me taper, it was an awful experience. So be safe. I love each and every single one of you guys. Thank you for being here on this journey with me. Before you go pick up that drink, please reach out to somebody and be safe. Yeah, man, please stay sober. Let's stay sober today. Take it one day at a time, and I'll see you guys for the next video real soon. Peace.